Hello and welcome to my latest career video. Now this career video features one of the great flyweight fighters, Fidel Labarba, who had a near 100 fight career and a very stacked career, scoring many good and great wins himself. So let us start off with Fidel Labarba's main opponent breakdown, so starting on slide 1, he fought a trilogy, with the great Jimmy McLarnin, scoring no wins with 2 losses and 1 draw in there. He also gained a win in his career over Hall of Famer and former Olympic gold medalist Frankie Ganardo, another of the great flyweight fighters. Labarba beat him in the one fight they had together. He also gained a win over former flyweight champion Willie Lamorte. Next up is Bushy Graham, the great bantamweight fighter who should be in the Hall of Fame. Travesty that someone like Barry McGuigan is in the Hall and yet Bushy Graham is not. Fidel Labarba fought Graham on 2 occasions, scoring 2 wins. He then also fights the great featherweight and super featherweight Kid Chocolate, the Cuban bonbon. Now in that trilogy against Kid Chocolate, Labarba scores 1 win and suffers 2 defeats. Next up, former featherweight champion Tommy Paul. Labarba fought him on 4 occasions, scoring 3 wins, 1 loss and no draws. And he twice defeated one of the great bantamweight fighters, Charles Bud Taylor. Labarba fought him on 2 occasions, winning both fights. Now on to 2 defeats, against Hall of Famers. The first is against undefeated former featherweight champion Battling Battalino. He beat Labarba in a single fight, and Labarba also lost to the great Mexican fighter Baby Arizmendi. Next up, former featherweight champion Pete Cerrone. Fidel Labarba defeated him in a singular fight, and then he fought 2 draws, to another of the great flyweight fighters, Newsboy Brown, from their 2-fight series. Next up, Hall of Famer Memphis Palmore. Labarba defeated him in the one time they met, and then against former pound rated fighter in my all-time rankings, Earl Mastro. Labarba fought a trilogy against Earl Mastro, scoring 1 win with 1 loss and 1 draw. He 3 times defeated excellent contender Santiago Zorrilla from 3 fights, and then the final fight on slide 1 was a defeat to the very capable and tough contender Eddie Shea. So there is slide 1, a lot of major opponents there and a lot of fights there, trilogies, etc. So on to slide 2. Now on slide 2, he fights young Nacionalista in another trilogy, scoring 2 wins with no losses and 1 draw. He then defeats contender Lou Perfetti in a singular fight before also scoring 2 wins over Emil Peluso. Next up, former top 10 contender Happy Atherton is also defeated in a singular fight, and Labarba also holds a win over Elke Clark. Now on to his next trilogy, this time against contender Jorge Vaca. Fidel Labarba fought him 3 times, scoring 1 win with 2 losses and no draws, and he twice defeated contender Willis Smith from their 2 fights together. Next up is the excellent contender Kid Francis. Labarba fought him on 2 occasions, scoring 1 win, 1 loss and no draws, and he also gained a singular win over former contender Ignacio Fernandez. Claude Varner comes next. Fidel Labarba fought him on 2 occasions, scoring no wins, suffering 1 loss and fighting 1 draw, and Labarba also twice defeated from 2 fights Leslie Wildcat Carter. Next up, is contender Varius Milling. Fidel Labarba fought him in another trilogy, winning all 3 fights against Milling. He then loses to Johnny Pena before gaining a win over the capable contender Mose Butch. Closing out slide 2 of main opponents with a loss to Seaman Tommy Watson. So Labarba's one of those fighters, and some of these names down here may not be as familiar to some people because, I'm not picking fault at anyone, but sometimes the bantamweights, flyweights, kind of go relatively unrecognised, and I think part of that reason is the heavyweight, middleweight, welterweight, lightweight, they're so glamour filled with massive names. A lot of people gravitate towards that and don't pay as much attention on the flyweights, but many top level fighters there were. So, on to our final slide of main opponents for Fidel Labarba. He fought another trilogy, this time against Georgie Rivers, Labarba winning all 3 fights. He then gains a singular win over Young Montreal before fighting to a draw against Clarence Rosen. The final 3 names on here are all victories for Fidel Labarba. The first is a singular fight over Billy McAllister, the second is a win over Billy Grime, and the third is a win over Al Citrino. So, from there, our 63 fights I've highlighted there, okay? Fidel Labarba has scored 41 wins, 15 losses, and 7 draws from those 63 fights. So, going on to the first of his stat slides, Fidel Labarba, not a big puncher, scoring 16 knockouts in his career, 3 of them in 3 rounds or less, and 3 in the first round. Now, Labarba scored 1 KO against Champion, he scored 0 against Hall of Famers, and he scored 1 KO against a pound-for-pound fighter, and Labarba scored 4 knockouts against rated opponents. Now, Labarba fought a total of 862 career rounds, he fought 42 title fight rounds, and he fought totals that are 184 rounds against champions, 148 rounds against Hall of Famers, and 194 rounds against pound-for-pound fighters. Now, Labarba, in terms of rounds against top 10 opponents, he comes in with a total of just over 500, a total of 528. He fought a total of 258 rounds against top 3 rated fighters, and Fidel Labarba fought 78 rounds against ring champions. So on to the slide against champions. Labarba had 19 fights against champions, scoring 11 wins with 7 losses and 1 draw. And Labarba defeated 7 individual champions. They were Frankie Gennaro, Willie Lamorte, Bushy Graham, Kid Chocolate, Tommy Paul, Charles Bud Taylor, and Petey Cerrone. And he scored a knockout over one of those individual champions. That was Willie Lamorte. So when we go on to the Hall of Fame slide, okay, we see Labarba had 15 fights against Hall of Famers, including 6 wins, 6 losses, and 3 draws. He defeated 5 individual Hall of Famers. They were Frankie Gennaro, Kid Chocolate, Charles Bud Taylor, Petey Cerrone, and Memphis Palmore. Labarba did not score any knockouts over any of those individual Hall of Famers he defeated. And to close out the final opponent category slide, it is the pound-for-pounders, and Fidel Labarba had 20 fights against pound-for-pounders with a record of 10 wins, 8 losses, 2 draws. He defeated 6 pound-for-pounders, okay, El Mastro, Bushy Graham, Kid Chocolate, Santiago Zarilla, Charles Bud Taylor, and Petey Cerrone. And Fidel Labarba scored a knockout or stoppage over one of those individual pound-for-pounders. That was Santiago Zarilla. So, on to rated opponent information. It's nice to have one with the information on. Okay, eventually, of course, we will get to a time where they will all have the relevant information on. Fidel Labarba had 54 fights against top 10 opponents with a record of 33 wins, 15 losses, and 6 draws. He also had a total of 26 fights against top 3 rated opponents, including 12 wins, 10 losses, and 4 draws. And Fidel Labarba had a total of 8 fights against ring champions, including 2 wins, 5 losses, and 1 draw. Now, Fidel Labarba, okay, defeated 21 individual rated fighters, and he's got knockouts over 4 of those individual rated opponents. So, on to world title fight stats. Okay, Fidel Labarba had 3 world title fights. His title fight record stands at 1 win, 2 losses, no draws. He made no title defences and scored 0 title fight KOs. He did score 1 win against a top 10 rated fighter in a title fight and 1 win against a top 3 rated fighter, but he scored 0 wins against ring champions in title fights. And in title fights, in his 1 win, that was neither against a champion, a Hall of Famer, or a pound-for-pounder. So, final slide to go. Titles, 1 slide, okay. Fidel Labarba captured the world flyweight title. He was also recognised as lineal flyweight champion of the world, and of course he was undisputed flyweight champion of the world. So it's actually great to do another flyweight, okay. It's great to get another great flyweight added onto the flyweight playlist. Of course, many more flyweights to come. I hadn't really covered many of them on my old channel before shutting that channel down, but of course we are going to go through them all here. on these playlists, so the flyweights will build up. The flyweights on my last channel, I think I added a few, but only a few, because I'd done the 18, 19, 1910 era, and I'd started 1910, 1930 era, but I can add the flyweights now as I wish to. The playlist will build up. So there's the great Fidel Labarba. Okay, he fought at flyweight, titled at flyweight, went up through divisions, you know, bantam feather, fought many great fighters, or champions or top level contenders across multiple divisions, and acquitted himself quite well, and was a great fighter. And Labarba is one of my 10 great flyweight fighters, in there with Jimmy Wilde and Frankie Gennaro, and all the other ones I include in there. So that is my latest career video. Okay, over the coming 4 days I'm gonna really as well crack on with the welterweight ring rankings. I want to get that welterweight list done so I can start work on the light welterweights. I'll keep them churning in background. I am debating to do a fighter's career from the full rating era, but one at Giants, you know, someone like a Sugar Ray Robinson. What do we think? Do people think I should just do his video now, just to demonstrate his numbers under this new system? Let me know in comment if you'd like to see Sugar Ray Robinson's video. I could do it now if I wanted. I won't make a habit of it, but you know, with certain other fighters' videos being done, you know, he's got full rating information for his career. He's got accurate numbers. Yeah, it'd be interesting to show his rounds against rated opponents, and his you know, wins in title fights against those categories and everything. So yeah, let me know under video if you think I should do Sugar Ray Robinson's, or I should wait and keep on my course. You know, every now and then I don't mind dropping one in. I've also been considering, okay, because some of the intermediate divisions, especially divisions like super middleweight, cruiserweight, you know, 80s, you know, light flyweight, minimum weight from 90s into 2000s, you know, I could start some of those divisions now, because there isn't going to be fighters from 1890 to 1930 or up to 1970 in those playlists. So technically I could start cruiserweight, could say do Hayes' video, I could start minimum weight Ricardo Lopez or Rosendo Alvarez or someone. So I could actually start some of those intermediate divisions, you know, from the more modern era anytime I wanted, but I'm still deliberating on that. But I am debating whether to do, say, Sugar Ray Robinson's video as a one-off, okay, just to get his numbers out there, show his figures. But there is Labarba. Okay, more videos coming soon. I'm the Boxing Librarian. I am out for now.